Hi, everybody. Bryan Broaddus once again here for the Scout's Eye, my favorite scout to break these plays down on a weekly basis, Voch Lombardi. Voch, the Carolina Panthers. It seems like we played the Carolina Panthers like 7-8 years in a row now, all in Carolina. What are you seeing from the Panthers early in your study?
You know, Brian, I saw the Panthers. They had a really good first week of the season. You know, Brian, they went out there. I'm like, okay, Carolina could be a contender this year, and well, they could be better than what they were last year. At least I thought that. But the past couple of weeks, they've kind of reverted back to some of their old ways. I think they had a really decent game versus Miami. But, man, Brian, Miami ain't looking all that great neither, Brian.
Right.
So, at the end of the day, the Cowboys should go out there, take care of business, and not worry about who's on the other side. And just I think there are some ways you can kind of take advantage of these dudes. And I think when we're talking about defense, Brian, it's going to vary quarterback to quarterback.
Right.
We got another runner, Bryan Broaddus.
Got another runner. Yeah, we sure do.
Got another dude that can run around a little bit. Bryce Young, formerly from Alabama, first overall pick quarterback there, Brian. He, like I said, fantastic, 350 yards in the first game. Tech McMillan, 100-yard receiving game, but they haven't been able to do that.
Connect that way.
They haven't been able to do that since then, Bryan Broaddus. So just a different way you can kind of deal with them. Now, it's interesting. The Cowboys had their best pass rushing game last week versus the Jets, Brian. I feel like the Jets have a much better offensive line than Carolina does. And one thing that kind of beat up on the Jets a little bit was stunts and gap exchanges, Brian.
Okay.
I think the same thing is going to come to the party here. Now, Cardinals aren't the best pass rush unit in the world. So when I was watching this game, they were really able to get a bunch of hurries, a bunch of pressures, a couple of hits on Young there, Brian.
Yeah.
But he's one of those guys to where he doesn't want to run downfield. Yeah. He'll scramble around, create a little more time. He's one of those Russell Wilson type cats, but he's younger, Brian. But one more thing the Cowboys have to do this week is they have to keep him in that well. We always kind of talk about that. And if you want to run gap exchanges on the inside or something and, just kind of move him off his post, he'll drop his eyes as well, Brian.
Voch, you know what I noticed? If we could run it back just a little bit here. Okay, is this another one of those teams? Remember last week we talked about the Jets and the way they man their stunts. To me, I don't know if this is a mistake. We'll get into some more film stuff, but it looks like to me the center was like late coming out. It's like that all of a sudden, like we get that looper, and this should have been tackled down, guard down, center. They should have wadded this thing up. Yeah. But they gave up the pressure with the looper coming inside there. I just kind of wonder, like everybody's kind of kicking like they're going, it's going to be 3-on-3. Yeah. And then all of a sudden,
center gets turned right.
Yeah, look at everybody's eyes. Look at all three of them. Everybody's kicking wide. Yeah. And they don't see, it's like when you see that looper as a guard, you got to push that center across. Yep. And it looked like this might be another one of those teams. Dallas had great success, as we broke down on our last video, of being able to attack teams that were picking up stunts this way.
These guys get turn, Brian. They don't have the best feet in the world, and I think we can definitely take advantage of that. Talking about some of these guys, and also too, Brian, Rico Dowdle still can't block. I mean, that was one of his problems as a Cowboy guy. Not even the physical side of the game, but just the diagnosing of it, Bryan Broaddus. Just all that. So, even if he diagnoses it, like he's still kind of leaning a little bit.
Yeah, Voch, they got him up there like they call that position like a sniffer.
Like a wing or something.
Yeah, he's right up in there, and like his job is to block that A gap, and he just gets overwhelmed right there.
Yeah, man, looking like he on punt team or something, Brian Broaddus. Hey, look, that's their business, not ours,
Absolutely.
Brian, I want to talk about some of these guys individually, man. Former first-round pick Imagn from Louisville there. Yeah. I was a big fan of him. He was a big, good moving dude. Yeah. Haven't really seen that in the league from him, Bryan Broaddus. And he's just kind of I don't like calling these guys the L word, Brian. It's the fourth quarter here, end of the game. He might be a little tired or something. That could be something the Cowboys can keep eyes on. But this set is horrible.
That's a bad set.
That set right there is horrible. And I just see that from him sometimes, Brian. His feet will stop, and he's reaching, he's leaning for guys. That's terrible. Yeah. So if you're Dante Fowler, you just had a great game last week against a young guy, and Olu got much better feet, got longer arms here. If you're Dante Fowler, you want to have another day like you did last week, go find Imagn and really make him work, Brian. And if he's a guy where you got to wear him down throughout the game, I think there's an opportunity to do that, Brian.
Yeah, there's been some talk about that Fowler, like the last year when it was after week 5, I was seeing some notes about that his his pass rush picked up for the rest of the year after week 5. So we'll see if, in fact.
Brian, I ain't trying to hear none of that mess. You need to look.
Line up and whip somebody.
I listened to the radio, man. I was like, oh, yeah, old Lou Fashionable's a young guy.
Yeah.
And Fowler used all his young guy tricks. That ain't work against Marcus and Bo.
No.
So, damn, Dante, I need you to come to the party.
Yeah.
Just another example here, but we can look at, honestly, both tackles getting worked right here. Yeah. And we'll just start there, Bryan Broaddus. Let's just take a look at both tackles, Brian. As big as they are, they kind of give up power rushes, Brian. They both kind of get walked back a little bit, and this could be a result of feet not moving as great as you would think. But just also too, Brian, one more thing, I just want to just point this out about the quarterback here. He's not going to just stand in there and make a throw.
No.
One thing that we've been crediting Dak for this year, Brian, is he'll see pressure. Right. He'll stand in there and make a throw and get hit last second. Bryce Young don't want to get hit, but he's a little bitty. He's about 5'11", 2 whatever. He don't want to get hit. So as soon as he sees pressure, He's out
trying
there,
to spin. Yeah, he's trying to spin and get out of there for sure.
One thing I wanted to keep an eye on, Brian, our guy right here, Damian Lewis, the left guard there, doesn't have the best feet in the world.
That looks a little slow-footed right there.
I think he's a former LSU guy. He might have something in common there, Brian. I don't know. I don't know. I know him as a powerful guy, Brian.
Yeah.
I know him as a guy that get a little bit of movement in the run game, Brian. But as far as his feet go, they aren't the best, and he'll try to lunge a little bit to make something shake. I don't think it's going to work. So Kenny Clark, Olsen, edges, please.
I recognize that game. That game translates to a guy that played in the 80s at LSU for sure.
In the 80s.
Yeah, for the 80s for sure. Though that's but you feel like though there's like this is the Jets had their offensive line you felt like was much better. Much better. They weren't compromised. They weren't losing guys.
It was healthy.
Here's another team though. If you had to say, maybe the lack of some athletic ability against the Cowboy front that's how they play their game with athletic ability. Make these guys have to move but man, you showed some stuff with some power problems that they have.
They are on par with how the Giants were.
Oh wow! Okay,
they're on par with those guys. Now, Brian, you know me, man. I'm not going to give Cowboys pass rush credit till I see it.
No, you absolutely see it, right?
Till I see it. But if they're going to show up and have a game like they did last week versus the Jets, Brian, this is a good opportunity to do that versus these guys across the board, not just the tackles, guards, center, get some too. Yeah. Brian, it's interesting. The past couple of teams that we lined up against. Yeah. They weren't necessarily deep ball throwers, but when they play the Cowboys, that's when they decide to go deep ball.
They'll chuck one, yeah.
I think Bryce Young got 12 deep attempts, Brian. I think he's only connected with like 2 of them. Yeah. But they do make the attempts. Out of those 12, I believe 7 or 8 of them have all gone to one guy, Bryan Broaddus, and that's their first-round rookie, Ted McMillan. Brian, it was a heartbreak when that man got drafted to the Panthers. Cowboys didn't even get an opportunity to get him. Hindsight, I was watching this film last night. I said, damn, it sure would be nice to have him in this offense that we got going on. But, Brian, just like we thought when we were watching film on him when he was at Arizona, at the University of Arizona there, Bryan Broaddus, he is a deep ball guy. And if they're going to make an attempt to throw deep, it's going to be to Ted McMillan. Right. Now, the other wide receivers, Brian, they're unfamiliar. Xavier Legette hadn't really done very much. Some of the other guys, I believe Renfro's over there. They haven't really done a whole bunch,
Hunter Renfro's there,
Yeah, they just haven't gotten going. And maybe that's a result of Bryce Young really not getting going, Brian. But if there was any kind of deep ball, any kind of threat down the field, it was definitely Ted McMillan.
Yeah, I think the thing that you have to worry about with Ted McMillan is his ability to, as a route runner, his ability to separate. I think his ability to go up and get the football. Everything about his game translated into what Dallas was really looking at, as a wide receiver and that kind of a player. And so, I think the pass rush has to be there this week. It also, like I said, you have to be able to take this guy. This will be a really, really stiff test for the Cowboys because of this guy's ability to separate, the length he has, and the way he goes and gets the football. This will be a tough matchup.
Also, too, Brian, just the next thing, Brian, every single quarterback that we've gone against have been a runner at some point. At this point, Brian, we just kind of got to categorize the level of threat that they are. Bryce Young is a runner. He will run, but he's not quite the Justin Fields threat of running. Like Justin Fields got running back, wide receiver level of threat running the football. A little more, he's a little better than Russell Wilson as a runner, Brian. I would say that he's not as physical Jalen Hurts. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like Jalen Hurts will run and he'll have willingness to run. Bryce Young doesn't want to run as much.
Yeah, but is he very similar to what the Commanders have with their quarterback, kind of that smoothness, that element to his game,
kind of slick,
yeah.
And you know, he's one of those guys that'll hold the run in his back pocket till it'll really break you on one of these downs there, Bryan Broaddus. I think he's one of those guys, but not a super threat running football. I don't think this is a game where we got to have a quarterback spot. I think for the most part, as long as the Cowboys kind of hit that game right there, as long as they contain,
I think the thing about him is like his lack of height is a problem here. Can't see, and then if you immediately get pressure on him quick, that tends to be a little bit of an issue for him as well.
Yeah, but he running around, Brian. I wouldn't even consider it too scary.
Yeah,
but we saw guys run around all day, Brian. So I just want Coach Flus to keep his eyes open for that, Brian. Rico Dowdle hadn't done much all year, Brian.
Yeah.
Hadn't really got all the attempts there. Hadn't really done very much.
Looks like he's running through tackles there,
Brian, versus the Miami Dolphins, and it could just be poor run defense on the Dolphins. Rico Dowdle got like 20 plus carries for 200 plus yards, Brian. Now, I don't know if Rico gonna come out here and do the same thing versus the Cowboys. What I love about it is that this is a game where the Cowboys could be feeling themselves. They may lull themselves to sleep. Oh, it's Carolina. I'm not really worried about it. Rico came out with some good bulletin board material and said, y'all better buckle up. So hopefully Coach Shoddy takes that and use it against them. But the same Rico Dowdle that we know, Brian, uphill, north and south, kind of running through people. So the Cowboys kind of been missing tackles and things
they have.
Brian. This is one of those games where the Cowboys gonna have to buckle up, like he says, and wrap up and drive through.
Yeah, no. The going into the game last week, Voch, the Chargers and the Cowboys both led the league in missed tackles. So you're right. They're going to have to get some bodies to the ball, and you know that Rico was going to want to have a really good game against these guys.
Brian, I just wanted to take a look at the Panthers defense for a second. Not a whole bunch going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got some names that Patrick Jones will go and get some pressures or whatnot, some of these other miscellaneous characters, but the defense isn't all that great, Brian.
Yeah.
And I think the Cowboys can really take advantage. But just like last week, there's kind of like one imposing force in the middle that you have to worry about and some miscellaneous rushes on the outside. Last week, it was Quentin Williams. That was a fantastic test for you. I think that your backup lineman did a pretty decent job dealing with him. Terrence Steele did some good stuff one-on-ones with him. But Derek Brown is one of those similar type of guys, Brian. I think Quentin Williams, they're both elite. I think Williams might be a little more powerful.
Sure.
Derek Brown is powerful, but he got quickness to his game.
Right.
Brian. And Derek Brown is probably going to be more of a B-gap kind of dude. So we're just taking a look at him. Bam, quick.
Oh, that was a quick move.
You can't have slow feet and lazy hands coming off the ball here. Now, Brian, this could be a Miami Dolphins problem. I don't want to just chalk this up.
That was a pretty poor set right there, though. I mean, that set was way open on that one. Yeah.
Terrible set there, Brian.
Yeah, but no, the rush, the club, and then to get to the quarterback and to get to Tua there, that's pretty impressive right there.
That's what he does. Derek Brown also, Brian, he'll line. They got this little bastard front. We had this conversation, Brian. They have a 0 here. Have a 4 there, a wide guy there, and another wide guy there, and just like maybe a guy that's over the 0. You know what I mean?
Stacked there, yeah.
Stacked up. So it looks like what it looks like, Brian, is a 3-3, right? With 2 guys put over here, and maybe they'll do something interesting with this miscellaneous linebacker right here.
Sure.
But I think the Cowboys are going to look at it and maybe block it as a 3-4 type deal, and they'll be fine there. But they'll give you multiple looks. Sometimes they'll line up in an even front, which is 4 down guys. But Brian, Derek Brown lines up here as well as that 4-I-5 kind of dude, Brian, and he can also whoop you out there. So Terrence Steele is going to run into him. Guyton, if he clears protocol, is going to run into him. Last time you saw Brown winning with quickness and ass whoop up the field. This time, very patient, very powerful,
almost like 2-gapping a little bit.
Control
the gap,
reading, and at the very end, come off and find the ball carrier there. So he's a guy that you got to deal with in many different, types of downs and distances, Brian. Situations, might be passing. He can pass rush you and get upfield and get you quickly. If it's run, he can set you up. He's powerful enough to deal with those guys. I would love to know what the health of your offensive line looks like. What guys come back. But as of now, it still looks like Hoffman and Bass. But we'll see. Go ahead.
Something what we might see though, if they get in that look, I think it's been called like a double eagle before, where you sign up you line up this on the nose, and then you have the two, or 46, the old Buddy Ryan stuff.
Yes, sir.
But what you want to do, and you think about that might mean ball on edge.
Yeah.
That mean down block, and now you got your pullers and stuff like that. Just you got to draw
a crack here.
Yeah, just draw everything, and then bring the back guy and kick that guy off the edge.
Yep.
And now you got down blocks, you got and then you got the ball coming off the edge. So if you get that look right there, that to me is all. That looks like a bunch of just down blocks, and then bring the pullers like.
Well, that's what they tried to do. Right?
That's exactly what they tried to do. I think Dallas has gotten better at it than. I mean, last year if this was Clayton Adams and the Carolina Panthers, or excuse me, the Arizona Cardinals, they'll find a way to block that. Exactly. So
appreciate you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Really good look at the Carolina Panthers. They've got some guys that you're absolutely going to have to worry about right now. We'll see what they do with the quarterback and how they play that, and then also with Derek Brown as the edge. Or playing him inside. This will be a very, very difficult matchup that way. So that'll do it for us today here on the Scout side. Thank you to my guy, Voch Lombardi. Hey, make sure you're checking out all the things that we're doing here on Crown Global Media. We've got a lot of things with breaking down the films like we did today, but we also got some of our shows as well. We got all this stuff on social media as well. You can follow along with us like that. We've also got our new merch stuff up too. Part of that will be tagged. Just go online if you feel like you need to buy something and deck yourself out. We'd really, really appreciate it as well. So again, for my Voch Lombardi, I'm Bryan Broaddus. We'll see you next time on the Scout's Eye.